the Christ, we shall recall some of the statements. Yesterday, I came across one particular statement. That's something like, you will give me that paper, thou shalt die if you would. The exact sentence is, give up thy life, give up this life if thou wouldst live. What a powerful statement of Jesus the Christ. Give up your life, meaning this life you are running with the identity of the body. When the body consciousness, the ego consciousness dies, give up this life of identification with the body. If you would live, then you come alive, you become eternally alive. This is the highest interpretation you can give to this statement. See, Jesus had spoken from high level of his. The interpreters who could not reach that level, they have at least given the statements. So it's up to you to make the highest interpretation or a mediocre interpretation. So it's very, very clear. You give up this life if you wouldst live. If you want to live, truly live, you have to give up this life of merry-making of the body. What we think is happiness in this life is of this body, this ego personalities. We go after things, thinking that that is happiness, attaining something, building a new house is happiness, getting married is happiness, children, happiness. So we have varieties of happinesses, and we go after that because we all want to be happy. Wanting to be happy is very, very natural, because in our true nature of Sat-Chit-Ananda, Ananda is the major role. We all want Ananda, happiness. Only thing is, at our level of ego personality with identification with the body, we think the happiness lies in the objects and people and in relationships. But the true happiness, lasting happiness, which we call bliss, the nearest word, English word, to Ananda is bliss. Even this bliss is not equal to Ananda. Ananda is Brahmananda. Paramananda. Parama means supreme. Parama Ananda, the supreme Ananda, the supreme bliss. That is our true nature. And this true nature is right within you. You are the spirit. You are the Atman. You are that Brahma Ananda. You are the Paramananda. Your true nature is one of Sat, the eternal living. Chit, supreme intelligence, supreme consciousness. Ananda, supreme bliss. So that Sat-Chit-Ananda, which we truly are, is inside. Your very breath is rooted in that. If your breath is not rooted in that, your body will be a dead body. It is not only rooted, your breath in, breath out, breath, not only rooted in the Chaitanya, the supreme divinity, and is sustained by it, then you will be simply the body. Now, he says, give up this life. This one sentence worth remembering all the time. It is sadhana. This life of what? This life of identification with the body. Ramana Bhagwan gives the highest interpretation to crucifixion. He says, you carry the cross. It's a cross of the karmas that you created with the consciousness of your identification with the body. I am thinking, I am talking, I am doing. I am doing karmas, good karmas and the bad karmas. So it is the ego body that is the cross. And when you are surrendered to the cross, Jesus surrendered himself when he was tied up to the cross. He surrendered. So when the ego finally surrenders to the cross, and the cross is, it is I and it is crossed. I represents the ego I, the body I. The Jesus, the body, is now fixed to the cross, and this, the horizontal line, Ramana Bhagwan says, it is destroying the ego. You are crossing this body I, the ego I. And what happens? Resurrection. Jesus came out, but now his is a body of light, eternal living. The resurrection is the resurrection of your true identity. That which illumines everything, the illuminating, supreme consciousness. Now that is resurrection. All of us have to go through this crucifixion. Crucifixion means the body I, the ego I, has to be killed. And know that it is torture. You don't know the ego has to go through torture after torture, torture of crucifixion. Ego doesn't die easily. At every level, the ego develops. It thrives. Why? Even now, Rama, when you think of Rama, you think of the body of Rama with all his emblems. Think of Krishna, the body of Krishna, as we see in the pictures. So we give a body identity to these gods. It is truly embodiment of God consciousness, but we give a form and a name. We say Rama, and then the Rama's form. Krishna, Krishna's form. And Shiva, Shiva's form. Shiva, he didn't want any form, so the linga is there, but we don't much think of the linga. We think of Shiva, with all those snakes around and the tiger skin. And we enjoy watching this figure and the dance of Shiva. Similarly, Jesus, the Christ, it's the Christ consciousness, like Krishna consciousness, Rama consciousness, Shiva consciousness. It is that supreme consciousness. We add the word Jesus because we have to think of a form and the name. So the form and the name will get crucified on the cross. The I, the ego, I of name and form should be cut across. It should be killed so that resurrection takes place. It is resurrection. So that we get back to our original nature, the true nature of Sat-Chit-Ananda, the supreme Ananda, supreme bliss. Sat means ever living, eternal living. Chit is supreme intelligence, the intelligence that created this whole cosmos. Just think of your eye, how beautifully constructed it is. You see the eyelid, eyelashes, and all the white, and then the pupil. And this is only the appearance. And now inside, such subtle components of the eye structure? Supreme intelligence. You take even the smallest worm, you take a spider, what structure, what sophistication. Take any insect for that matter. It has such beautiful structure. Only supreme intelligence can create it. And if the supreme consciousness is not inside even an ant or a worm, they cannot move. The ant would not know where the sweet is. Even when we forget where we have placed the sweet, the ants will show you. They know exactly where the sweet is. Intelligence. They're conscious of the sweet somewhere, and the intelligence tells them how to get there, and they go get it. So you see in all living beings, this intelligence and consciousness. Why? Because it is inside every being, be it an animal or a plant or the fire, the natural elements. There is no place where God consciousness is not. And then the question comes, why is that we walk over the stone? The stone is not conscious of our walking over it. The manifestation of the consciousness varies from being to being. Because the supreme consciousness has to come through this ego, this false self-consciousness. So it gets filtered and it becomes our limited consciousness, limited intelligence. So I am conscious, you are all conscious, we are all conscious, we are all intelligent. But it's all limited because you do not know what is behind you. You do not know what is behind the wall. And you do not know what's going to happen in future. Whereas the all-knowing, all-powerful, all-pervasive, timeless, spaceless, nameless, formless, supreme consciousness is everywhere. The whole cosmos is brimming with this consciousness. There is no place where it is not. There is intelligence and consciousness everywhere. Even the space now, even the stone. Then why is that the stone is not conscious of 1 million people walking over it, it's still not conscious? Because the supreme consciousness within, what we call the life. This consciousness is truly called life. It is the life of all our lives. The life of creation. The life of the whole creation. Now that supreme consciousness is withdrawn. It is withdrawn deep inside, and therefore, like even when you sleep or when you become unconscious, you will not be aware even if somebody should put the knife in you. You know that we go through it. When you become unconscious or when you are in coma, you are not aware of anything, but the life is still going on. The breath is there. The ventilator is there, the breath is going on. You are still in coma, but you are not conscious of anything outside, and you are not even conscious if somebody should cut you. When you are in deep sleep, you are not aware of the world because you are not aware of yourself as a body. So you are not aware of the world outside. But still, if somebody should put a knife in you, you wake up. That's the next state. And then in the dream state, continues there. And then we come across people we know, and sometimes people we do not know. But whatever happens in the dream is a reality in the dream. In the dream, that's the only reality. So this famous example from the scriptures, when you go through the forest, if a tiger or a lion should pounce on you, and the ego body, ego personality of the dream is frightened, and it screams, and then you wake up. You would be truly screaming. even in the wakeful state, and you would still be trembling out of fear, but the forest wouldn't be there, the lion wouldn't be there, there is no pouncing. You are very cozily settled in the safety of the room, in your very comfortable bed. See how the consciousness shifts from the unconscious mode to the deep sleep mode, and from the deep sleep mode, the dreaming mode of consciousness, and from the dreaming mode of consciousness, the wakeful mode of consciousness. We go through all this. These are our experiences. Nobody can deny it. So consciousness has varied levels. So the reality of this body consciousness also changes from one mode to the other. When you are totally unconscious, say in coma, you wouldn't be aware even if the people should cut you. See, we all go through it when they do the operation. They give you anesthesia. And then when you wake up, they say the operation is over. You were not aware of any discomfort, any pain. I'm sure many of you would have experienced that. So a simple anesthesia can make you lose your consciousness. You're not aware of anything, even if the doctor should put the knife, cut open and then do whatever he wants to do. So from the mode of unconsciousness to the mode of the deep sleep consciousness, and from there to the mode of dreaming consciousness, and from there now, this is the wakeful consciousness. In this wakeful consciousness, the mind is very alert, we are very sensitive only to the things outside. What the eyes can see, the ears can hear, and the mouth can speak, the touch. We are very, very sensitive to all the wakeful substances. But in a stone, it is also in the wakeful state because we can see it, but this consciousness is withdrawn. Like in deep sleep, the consciousness is withdrawn to a certain level. In unconsciousness, that consciousness is still there because the breathing is still there. See, the breathing will not be there if there is no consciousness. So even in the state of consciousness, even in the state of coma, the breathing continues. And therefore the consciousness is there, the supreme consciousness is still there inside, but it's totally withdrawn. But when the body dies, the supreme consciousness leaves it. That is when you become a dead body. It becomes fit for only burning or burial. In any case, even that, see, even this, the dead body has consciousness because there is no place where there is no consciousness. The whole cosmos is filled with consciousness. So even the dead body, but this consciousness is minimum. So the body will go into the earth, and then the 5 elements of which the body is made up will reach. You know, after some time we become, what do you call it? Fertilizer. You bury the bodies or you burn the bodies, it will mix with the earth and it becomes fertilizer. So as fertilizer, you go into the plants. And then the plants become your food. You return to the body. So there is never any absence of consciousness, but the degrees of consciousness will vary. So what Ramana Bhagavan says is this I, the ego I, is cut across. So this is the cross. The cross is your luggage of karmas which you did with the identification of the body. I have done it. I am thinking, I am talking, I am doing. This body I is the cross, and the form and the name will carry it even though the form and name has reached a very high state of consciousness, and then the complete surrender, crucifixion. It is when the eye is struck off, what remains is resurrection. So the resurrection is our getting back to our original state of Sat-Chit-Ananda. So the resurrected Jesus is truly Sat-Chit-Ananda. And He is within you. He is within all beings, the whole creation. The highest interpretation. Yogi Ramsuratkumar said, the closer you are to God, the higher will be your interpretation. The highest interpretation given by Ramana Bhagwan is kill this ego I. Crucify it. Because the ego has to go through torture after torture before it dies. It's not easy when somebody comes and throws abuse at you. Oh, I'm not the body, I'm not this personality, I will just put up with this. Can you be there like this? How much you think of this humiliation day after day after day, finally only the humiliation stays on. You bring the thought will go on and on and on. And then finally you become a victim to the thought. Depression. So it's the ego goes through crucifixion. It has to go through crucifixion. Nailing. So that it would die. And then what remains is the resurrected, eternal being of Sat, the eternal life, Chit, the supreme intelligence, and Ananda, the supreme bliss. Don't we all want to live long? As long as possible, we want to live. Nobody wants to die. Because we are Sat, truly Sat, eternal existence. So eternally, the beginning, when Bhagwan Yogi Ramsuratkumar shifted to Sudama from Sannadhi Street house and permitted me to do seva to him, whenever he was pleased with me, with my seva, he would say, long live Devaki, long live Devaki. And then I used to scream, I would say, Bhagwan, why are you adding years to my living? I don't want to live long. When he said, Devaki, don't stop this beggar, when he said, when this beggar says, long live Devaki, it means eternal living for Devaki. Just see the shift. We interpret it as living of the body. But the meaning that they give is eternal living. So long live Devaki meant he was blessing me with eternal living. He used to say it so many times. And so once I understood that, I welcomed it. I would say, Bhagwan, please say that long live. So this is resurrection. When Bhagwan said, long live so and so, he is blessing you with eternal living. He is bringing you back to your original Sat-Chit-Ananda nature. What a great blessing, the greatest blessing. So we have to remember this lesson. The highest teaching of Jesus the Christ is He's getting crucified, meaning the form and the name. Jesus the name. Christ is the consciousness. So the Jesus, the form and name, got crucified on the cross, that is on the ego I, so that the resurrection. So he appears, it's not that he died, he appeared as a form of light. For us to identify, he was the same form, but it was the form of light. The light of Sat-Chit-Ananda. So this is what we have to remember. So do not pin up name and form to that supreme power which created not only you and me, but a whole lot, 8.4 million varieties of beings. Can you imagine? Starting from one-celled animal, one-celled insect, right up to the devas, rishis, the highest beings. There are 8.4 million varieties of beings. Who could create them with such intelligence, graded intelligence? The worm has its own intelligence and consciousness, and so we say that the supremely intelligent consciousness puts on the dress, puts on the body of the worm, and it wriggles. It puts on the body of a bird and it flies. With the intelligence and consciousness of the bird. And it wriggles like a worm with the intelligence and consciousness of the worm. And it behaves like ego personalities in all of us. The same supreme consciousness. Though in one part of the world they would name it as Buddha, in another part of the world they would name it as Allah, in another part of the world they would name it Jesus, in another part of the world they would name it Rama, Krishna, Shiva. The name and form we pin up. That's why there is my God and your God, and the my God and your God clash. And there would be senseless killings, massacre. Because you've added my, the ego my God, your God. You turn to worship of my God, otherwise you would be killed. You see it, I think in Islam they do that. They, at the tip of the dagger, they say, convert to Islam, otherwise you'll be killed. It happened very recently in Kashmir, how people were cruelly killed. If anybody said Hindu, immediately they beheaded. They say, no, I will change to Islam. No, I'm not a Hindu, I'm changed. They survived. All others were killed. Like they kill animals. We kill animals. Animals also, they have that supreme divinity inside. So when you kill, you must remember, you see there's a song of Tulsidas, I think. Gati Gati Ramuka, Ramuhi Ramaya, Katina Vachana Matubol. Meaning, each one is a pot, each being is a pot. Inside, the lamp of Rama is burning. See the lamp, the burning lamp of Rama inside. Don't see the pot. So do not speak harsh words. When you speak harsh words to someone, you are addressing Rama within them. You are addressing Atma Ram within them. So gati gati. Gati means kudam, that is pot. Gati gati Ramaka Ramahi Ram. It is Rama's gut, Rama's pot. And inside the pot, it is Rama who is burning as a lamp, the eternal lamp. So katina vachana matubol. Don't speak harsh words to anybody. Don't kill the animals because you want some tasty food on your table. How much they fear death. They all have instinctive intelligence, and every animal knows when it is killed. Just minutes before, they will have this consciousness, they're going to be killed. And sometimes ruthlessly. What pain it causes and what fear they go through, all that will be embedded in the flesh, the dead flesh that you eat on the table. So naturally, the fear, the fear element will enter. The pain and the fear will also come with the flesh, come with the food. As you say, if the cook is a thief or a wicked person, when he cooks food and it comes to your table, if you do not offer it to God and then take it, you eat it as it is given, then that stealing vasana, the latent tendency of the thief will also go into you. When you sit in one place like this and you get up and go, you leave your vibrations there. The vibrations of your thoughts. Someone very sensitive to that can just touch that and know instantly what kind of person you are. We all have the aura. The aura tells you when somebody approaches, if you see the aura tells you what kind of person he is or she is. The aura has all elements of your thoughts. So that influential the presence is. The presence of an animal or plant or... See, some plants, it's poisonous. The minute you eat it, you die. So the influence is seen. So when the plant can do it, why not the animal? So the animals find their graveyard. This becomes a samadhi sthal for all the animals. You are eating a dead body. So how will you be? Just think. So that is why they say non-violence to even animals. So vegetarian, you will say, oh, that's okay, we are plucking. But in certain green leaves, we pluck the whole thing, uprooted. Then are you not killing? They are meant for that. For example, a tiger's food is a deer. If you try to save the deers, which are natural food for a tiger, then you are causing imbalance in the cosmos. The very creation is such that a balance is maintained at the cosmic level. God has thought of every aspect of life, every subtle and the gross detail of life. And He has created the cosmos accordingly, and He is running it. We interfere, thinking that we are more intelligent. Why I am saying, let's come back to the theme, that is, today we have to remember that our ego will also go through crucifixion in some birth or the other. And then what happens is eternal living starts. So that was what I read. The one important saying of Jesus that I found: give up this life if thou wouldst live. If you want to live, Yogi Ramsuratkumar says, it's only when you remember God, you truly live. The times you forget God, you are carrying your own dead body, even though the body is still breathing. Why? Because it is not serving the purpose of life. What is the purpose of life? Remembrance of God. Why? Because God is inside you. And who is He? He is that supreme divinity of Sat-Chit-Ananda. Because of that, you are conscious, you are intelligent. Our very consciousness, our very intelligence tells you He is sitting inside. And with that intelligence and consciousness, we deny the existence of God. That is the irony of life, and God enjoys that. I used to tell people, some DK people, that is people who do not believe in God. There's a huge section of it in Tamil Nadu. And their job is to burn the effigies of like Rama, Krishna, they would burn, set fire to that. Or they would put a mala of chappals and all that. Their way of denying the existence of God. So they had come, Bhagwan was living in the Sanadi Street house. the opposite wall of the chariot mandap, they had written, there is no God, no God, no God at all, at all, at all. And something more, very dirty words about saints. So when we saw, we were all shocked that you should come and write all these things in front of Bhagwan's place. Already there was this gutter running across, lining up his house. And this was there. So some of us started crying. And then Yogiji came out. And he saw all our faces. And he looked at that. And then he started to laugh. It was an uproarious laughter. His inimitable, cascading, uproarious, thunderous laughter. He said, why? Why are you all like this? Enjoy the joke. It is my father in those forms have come to write that he doesn't exist. What a joke it is. See the way they see it. They see, yesterday evening I told you that when he was surrounded by the thugs and he was beaten up ruthlessly, when two people came and said, we would beat them up so that they won't touch you again, he said, no, they have come to do this work and they have done their work. We have come to do Father's work. We will do Father's work. So you see, even those wicked people who beat him up so ruthlessly that the blood was oozing and his dhoti and kurta torn into pieces, he was able to say they are playing their roles perfectly. They have come to do only wicked things. It's a role play by the same divinity. And the same divinity has come in this form to do Father's work. So our role is to do Father's work. Their role is to do wicked things, and they have done their work. We will do Father's work. So this is it, the whole show. He called it world show, Yogi Ramsuratkumar. He referred to this world not as Maya, but world show, a natak, a drama on the stage. And the director gives roles. The God, the director of the whole world show, is playing the role of the hero and the villain and all the sub-characters. And so, we have to see it as a world show. What is the end of this? You don't get disturbed. Everything, remember, in the corner of the mind is all Maya. So if somebody should humiliate you, somebody should choose to beat you up, this is still Maya. You will wake up one day out of this, and then you will know you are the eternal Sat-Chit-Ananda. This never happened. This beating up, all these sufferings, you are living as a body with name, never happened. Your true being, Sat-Chit-Ananda. So let us remember this particular teaching of Jesus Christ, that give up this life. If you would, what is that? Because I will say it in my own words. Give up this life, right? If thou wouldst live. Yogi Ramsuratkumar.